So it's half past.
Yeah, but you can always have a bargain. What are your plans?
We're going live.
Yes, he's working on them, he says, but he could have been working on them for a little while.
Are you happy with the
Yeah.
volume working?
Is it live?
You're live.
Yes, it is live. Can I hear it?
Can you hear it?
Hello, welcome. No? Let's start speaking. Okay.
Give me a moment.
It's got a red light on it, Chloe, so does
I
it
just
need
turned it off. There you go. I should.
That's it.
Yep, good. Good to go.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Chloe. Just like to welcome everyone to Stanley Town Council's Planning Committee meeting for September. I'd also like to welcome Sophie, our new town clerk. Welcome to your first committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
One
Makes me feel very welcome.
Thank you. I just want to remind members that we generally speak once on the topic and twice at the chairman's discretion, okay? Okay, so we start with item 1, apologies for absence received.
We've received apologies from Councillor Fortescue for travel commitments, but in his place we've had Councillor Ian Black.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declaration of disposable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda.
Mine isn't pecuniary, but I'm very close to one of the sites we're going to be talking about, and I declared my pecuniary interest 2 meetings ago. I have a dispensation to talk about this, but tonight my comments are not going to be about pecuniary issues, but I'm nevertheless declaring an interest.
Yeah, I think also sometimes when people contacted Dover District Council, I think sometimes it's not what you're thinking actually take part in the debate. They declared what's the word for it?
Predisposition.
For the predisposition is already written letters to Dover District Council.
Those aren't in our standing orders,
No.
and that's
We're supposed to come in with open minds, aren't
Yes. I'm coming in with an open
we?
mind.
Yeah.
I merely
We always recommend do it through the town council and don't send individual letters off.
I'm sorry, you've lost me there.
Well, because you're prejudging the outcome.
I'm not prejudging the outcome at all. I haven't even spoken.
No, I'm just saying it's when people have written to the district council it's already comes up.
Chair, what I would say is this is an item that is returning, so I think in this case we probably don't have too much of an issue because we've already discussed it more than once.
That's
So,
right, yeah.
so I wouldn't be too worried about an input because I'd be very surprised if we change our view in terms of, because nothing material has changed.
No, we're only consultants, aren't we?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just a consultative committee doing a recommendation.
But you must, Mr. Chairman, you must remember that anybody that's already pre-objected on the Dover District Council website shouldn't be voting.
Yeah.
That is the correct law.
Again, it's not in our standing orders.
No, it's not.
It's in
It
those
is not in our standing orders.
All right, council, all right, if it's not in our stand, we'll move on. So, as it's the Dover District's stand and it's not in ours, we
It's
move
not Dover
on.
District.
Okay, we'll leave it up to the members how they vote. I'm not forcing anyone to vote or not to vote. It's up to the individual member to vote. And I will say that previously when there was an estate and we used to leave the room and it covered me because there was a dispute on the estate and they kept coming into the town clerk's office and they went through all the agendas and every time they went through the agenda they saw I wasn't even in the room. So it just covers you personally if you don't comment. It's up to the individual councillor.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you. Okay, so that's item 3. Minutes of the Planning Committee. To approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Monday the 11th of August 2025 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Attachment 1.
I'm happy to propose them unless.
Yeah,
somebody's
so
got
to approve the
comments.
amended minutes of the Planning Committee.
So do we have a seconder for that?
So, proposal, accept the minutes, second,
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
What's
Stuart.
that?
Okay, thank you. Item 4, public participation.
So we've just got to revise the minutes to approve as well. which is
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And we're to approve the amended minutes as well, attachment 2. Okay.
Those are amended minutes.
Second, I think we're the same again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Item 4, public participation. The 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to address, must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting.
I've received no requests.
Okay. Item 5. Go to you, Chloe, did you?
Yes, just to say that apologies, items 5I and 5J, we discussed them in the August meeting, so we won't be discussing them tonight. Also, the withdrawn application 25/00935, this was withdrawn, but thank you, Mr. Andrew, when you raised this, I checked with Dover District Council, and they actually reopened the application but amended it, and it's now part repoint or front elevation. So I've highlighted that in the agendas that I provided you this evening, so you can see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. Planning application 25/00970, proposal erection of a single storey front and rear extension, existing sunroom to be demolished, location 28 Watson Lee Sandwich, CT 13 9JF.
I'm happy to propose approval of this planning application. The rear extension backs onto the railway,
Yeah.
and the front one is just for additional porch space, so it's quite happy to approve for approval.
Anyone else? Oh, I'll second that. All in favour of the
Support.
Support.
Support the application, yeah. B, planning application 25/00665, amended application, proposal, outline planning application with all matters reserved except access for 45 market and affordable dwelling, 66-bed care home with provision of main vehicular access to Dill Road, emergency cycle and pedestrian access to Dover Road, estate roads, parking, residential and community open space and landscaping, 0.08 hectare parcel to be transferred to Sandwich Technology School for use as a sports pitch. Location, land on the north east side of Dill Road, Sandwich CT 13 0BY.
Thank you. I've got 3 things I want to talk about in relation to this. We are asked as the town council to comment on access because it's one of the issues there. There's 2 parts to access. I'll talk about the simpler one first. Pedestrian emergency vehicle access to and from the site on Dover Road. The proposal is to use that roadway between 80 and 82 oblique 4 Dover Road. This is an agricultural lane at the moment. The situation, there are 2 houses there and 2 houses currently being constructed. The proposal is that bollards be set up to make this only an emergency access route plus cycling and pedestrians. The unfortunate thing is they are proposing to put the 2 bollards right at the Dover Road entrance, which means you're going to block off 4 houses unless you have some means to allow them access. The difficulty, if you also put the bollards there, is that you're going to prevent any deliveries, etc. occurring. I would suggest, I mean, the local residents are very unhappy about that being used at all and having any bollards, but I've said to them, look, there are going to be bollards, otherwise it will become a rat run, but suggest that the bollards be moved to where the gate is, the current gate onto the farmland. That would allow access to the 4 houses, and that strikes me as a much more practical solution. It's going to be an access route, it's for emergency vehicles, and it's to cyclists and so on. That strikes me as far more practical. That's the first point.
Yeah.
The second point is much more complicated. The access onto Deal Road. I've given my background, you'll understand why I've read the traffic issues in great detail. The TRICS traffic calculations are on pages 76 to 86 of the final paper. These indicate a morning peak of 490 vehicle movements per hour in each direction along Deal Road, and about 530 vehicles per hour from 8:45 to 0900. Evening peaks are less, 330 to 390 in each direction, with 420 at 5:30. Now, the TRICS data says 27% of departing site traffic will turn left, i.e. go into Sandwich. Some of that may be wraparound, some of it may be people just going into Sandwich. 73% will turn right, across 2 lanes of traffic. That's not an easy exit. To date, the developers and Kent County Council don't seem to have seen any issues with that. But the full significance of the reference site chosen for TRICS is unknown. There's a very large school, less than 100 metres from there, plus the leisure centre, plus the pull-in for all the school buses, plus a service bus stop, all on that side of the road, which will impact upon the sightlines. This is not mentioned in a single document by the developer or by Kent County Council. Those of you who know that road will understand just how difficult it can be in the morning. And unless you have some form of parking and waiting management on the approaches to the school, you'll have an additional problem with parents trying to park in the estate, waiting to collect their kids or parking there to drop off. There is also no pedestrian crossing proposed at the exit from this site, and yet you've got all the school kids going backwards and forward. Then we know how much attention school kids pay to traffic. So I think it's going to be an extremely difficult situation unless they do something. There was a site safety visit at noon on a Friday when there's hardly any traffic there, which, fair enough, they've done it, but you can look at the hours and say, is this the most appropriate time? Finally, road traffic flows like water. If Deal Road becomes too congested, there's a significant risk that parents will pick up and drop off from the Dover Road school entrance, and some do so already. So there is a big problem with the traffic. Now, the whole document has been reissued, and the expiry date for complaints, comments, etc. is now the 3rd of October, because there have been so many objections by some statutory objectors plus people in Sandwich. The proposal is that 0.8 of a hectare is given to the school as a playing field. When you look at the details, it says it is for the school and for education purposes. The proposal that has just come out is to have 12-metre high floodlighting working until 10 o'clock at night, which will floodlight a good part of Dover Road, Stone Cross Lees, the 4 houses there, and a lot of people will be affected by that, let alone the noise, let alone the parking, unless they have only allow access from the leisure centre coming off Deal Road. Now, a lot of residents now are extremely concerned about this lighting, which has only just appeared this week. 12 metres high, and why does it need to be available until 10 o'clock at night? That is leisure centre, that is not school. Those are the 3 points which I think this committee needs to take cognizance of.
Just a couple of observations. The leisure sector, or basically the sports field, and the home, I'm not sure quite how best to describe it, the sort of 66-bed home there. Swap them round and you start to solve some problems. So it was just an observation on the design. It's poorly designed because it's pushing the irritating area towards existing residents on Dover Road. Move that leisure area, the leisure system, the sports field with the the lights onto the Deal Road, then you take away that a lot of that problem. The other area of concern is with regard to the exit. Having used, having sort of delivering and taking things away from the school, I do tend to arrive on the school side of the road and I leave on the school side of the road because it's not nice crossing that road. That's my experience of it. That being the case, while the perception and the design says that people will turn right 70% or so turning right, I think there'll be a tendency to turn left into Sandwich, using Sandwich as a rat run, and looking, as we have been looking at pedestrian access on the toll bridge, we're just going to have even more traffic using that toll bridge. So I'm looking at it in terms of, I'd rather have some way, possibly a roundabout, that allows people to access and turn right onto the bypass, which is, you know, to take people away from Sandwich, rather than leave it as it is, which invites people to turn left and just exacerbate the problems we already have. That's fine.
Yeah, a little button roundabout might be out, because slow the traffic down as well, wouldn't it?
Simple, not expensive, and it will make it so much nicer for everybody.
Slow people come down into Sandwich.
And it will slow people down.
Yeah. Councillor Wallace, do you want to say?
Sorry?
Do you want to speak?
Yeah, just a couple of points. I mean, we've already made an objection to the proposal. I hear what Councillor Black says about the access, and I can understand that, but KCC Highways are saying it's broadly acceptable.
Yeah.
But going back to the local plan, what the local plan says is that this should be, there shouldn't be any vehicular access from the Dover Road, but the plan indicates that there will be emergency vehicular access. I'm not sure how that fits with the criteria in the local plan. The local plan also says it should be indicative capacity of 60 dwellings. We've now got 105 dwellings if you count the 60-bed 60-bed care home as dwellings. I'm just looking at the government guidance on the definition of a dwelling, and it is a building or part of a building. Its distinctive characteristics is its ability to afford to those who use it the facilities required for day-to-day private domestic existence, namely bathroom and kitchen facilities, a place to rest and sleep. Now, it's not clear from the application what the how this care home will be set up. Is it personal care? Is it just a room? Is it a room with an ensuite? Is it a room with an ensuite and kitchen facilities? It's not clear. So on the face of it, if we assume that the definition of a dwelling is this, then we're talking about a big overdevelopment of the site compared to what's in the local plan. Yeah. So that would be my main objection, and that was something that the earlier consultee response picked up.
I should imagine the bollards we're going to put in is like a flat lane, you know, off St Barts, when you go back, come St Barts and go up towards the back of that new development there.
Yeah.
They put wooden bollards in there which can be lifted out.
Yeah.
I believe the proposal is to have ones that can go up and down.
Yeah.
Whether they're easily lifted up. I mean, let's face it, emergency vehicles will just lift and chuck them out.
They're notoriously difficult.
I think, okay.
Just as a follow-on from Councillor Wild's comments about dwellings and kitchen facilities, my personal view is that thank you, the care home's kitchen would apply to each individual because that's where they get their meals from. So that would be my definition of a kitchen and a dwelling.
A separate dwelling. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drawings now as we speak. So that road in Dover, where it says there quite clearly that there's going to be it's emergency access only. So there'll be bollards, like the ones in Potter Street, probably the ones that they can lift out.
Yeah.
While the Kent Farm Rescue and the ambulance service have a key, which is special called number 1 key. regarding the speeding down Dill Road, this council has put into place the highway improvement plan to lower the speed limit from 40 to 30 on that.
Yeah.
So, well, just want to make that point.
Nobody takes the blindest bit of notice of
Oh,
speed.
of course so.
Mr. Chairman, it's very good to discuss all these different matters, but obviously from a planning point of view, we can only ascertain the information and make a decision on the information that's actually in this planning application. So because it's an amended one, it is treated as a new application, but we do have to be subjective to what's there.
We could recommend the bollards by the gate.
They were always going to be demountable bollards. Since 2015, there was always going to be demountable bollards to allow emergency access, pedestrian access and so that's for 10 years.
The only thing is, Councillor Carter, if they're there with people going in and out their houses, I mean, every time they go in and out their houses, they've got to take bollards out. So,
That was supposed to be further down, it's obviously an oversight on the planning.
They're probably further down by the gate.
Yeah, that would work.
But that's a good observation.
Good observation.
But we need to make a decision on the planning application in front of us,
That's right.
not on any things that we would like changed.
So, what, have a proposition? Last time we objected to it, didn't we?
So the comments that the last time we rejected it on Monday the 14th of July, the application has moved away from the initial proposal that was adopted in the Dover District Council local plan, and now includes a 66-bedroom residential care home. This will have other considerations such as traffic generation and infrastructure, including public drainage and water systems.
We follow our other guidelines to object to that.
I mean, the council, we've made a comment before, so we could just
Be consistent with that.
continue the same comment.
I think, hang on a minute.
Sorry?
John. Do you want to say something? I'll finish your hand up.
I thought, yes, there was a decision was made to object. The bit that we did not discuss and that is specifically asked for in this is the access, because that's not a reserved matter. The other matters, I agree, are reserved, but the access is specifically not reserved. And my hope was that we are able to take a view forward on the 2 points of access. The bollards bit, I think, is not a substantial one, but the other one is very substantial, and I suggest that this committee should be commenting upon it, given the volume of traffic which comes from the detailed report, the tricks report, and believe me, it's better than sleeping tablets trying to read that thing.
But I think we'll sort of go with it by can't get any council highways, aren't we? I know we're limited to council ones.
I think the problem with this application is the care home is a big property, it's a big footprint, but from the application it's not clear what they mean by care. Is it sheltered housing where people are living independently, in which case they might have cars and coming and going, or is it a care home for people who have high dependency, who are just living in
Just staff
a
cars.
room with maybe not even an ensuite?
Yeah.
So if it's the former, then we're talking about 111 dwellings effectively on a site that's set aside for 60 dwellings. But if it's the latter, then to some extent that creates less traffic flows than a 60 home development.
I think in terms of KCC highways are not immune to making mistakes. We have challenged on other applications regards their view in terms of, I can recall Paradise Rose, a very good example. So there are ways in which we as a council, particularly as we're local residents, have a view and we should feed in that view. So at the moment, the comment, if we just take forward what we presented last time, is too broad, too light to actually point out the issues. And I would side with Councillor Black in terms of the concerns about the KCC surveying was done at the wrong time. And I don't think they've really taken into account the whole context. And if they did that and they then decided they were still happy with it, then that's fine. But at the moment, I think taking a survey at noon on a Friday is not the best time. And we have enough intelligence, and it's been flagged up by Councillor Black about the traffic flow. I personally have less of a concern about the exit and access on Dover Road because of how that's going to be controlled. For me, it's the Deal Road is a significant issue.
I would agree with that. It's much more complicated. I'm happy to supply all of these details to the clerk, because obviously I've spent many a happy hour going through the detail.
So, you know, register a strong objection to this plan? Overdevelopment, too many places?
I think we still have, sorry if I'm allowed to come back, we still have a standing objection on the overdevelopment because it isn't in line with the local plan. We haven't had that answered, but that is a very broad statement, and Dover District Council could easily just say, actually, we're comfortable with the change of proposal. It's the detail is the key thing that we need to challenge on, because the consequence of overdevelopment is greater traffic on the road. And I think for me, that's the issue that needs to be resolved.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, could I just ask, because with the, going forward with a comment such as overdevelopment, sites actually flagged up to take 60 new dwellings, and we're only having 44 on there.
44.
So I heard what Councillor Wiles said, but until we get the feedback on the care home, we shouldn't really be saying it's overdeveloped until we know what the usage is of the care home. Because they're going to laugh at us. They're going to say, well, you meant to have 60 homes there, and you're only going to have 45. So if we say it's going to be overdeveloped, when they're actually putting 15 houses there.
Staff on at the time, aren't they?
What we should be doing is highlighting what Councillor Black has raised to do with the access on Deal Road, and what Councillor Wiles has raised about what type of care home it is that's going to be put on the site. Those are the things we should be
I would say a 66 bed residence care home is significant in terms of 45 homes plus 66 residents in a care home is an issue that we should be flagging up, because Dover do need to look at that seriously and make a judgment if they find it acceptable. And it will be their decision ultimately, but we should be flagging that as a concern.
Another matter about the care home is that maybe 66 beds, but it's going to have an equivalent number of staff.
Of course. Yeah, and
That's
that's
what I'm
And
saying.
they'll be
that's the whole
arriving
point,
by vehicle too.
And
Yeah, I mean, there might be just residential, it might be like 12 staff on at a time.
Because my wife's a social work, was a social work manager, just to clarify, all accommodation now needs to have ensuite bathroom. It doesn't have to have an ensuite kitchen, it does have to have an ensuite bathroom. The traffic development did take account of the large numbers of cars, service vehicles, delivery trucks and everything else that is in it. But you've got to look in the detail. But it generates as much traffic, if not more, than the 45 houses. And the problem is it's also at the conflicting time. Well, everyone's trying to get out, the service trucks are trying to get in.
So what's our grounds for it? We're going to object to it then? Is that the case?
I propose that we do object to it again, because nothing materially has changed. We've got some more detail in terms of the KCT report. We've still got questions about that. I would object, but I think some of the detail, particularly around the Deal Road issues, should be flagged up
I'm not happy with
to
that.
make it in more detail of our response. That would be my proposal.
But I mean, it's like being asked to give outline permission for, you know, a power plant, and then you find out later it's a nuclear power station.
We did ask them all, knowledge, I think, about the care home, I think it's me, at the sector there, I think it's 2 months ago.
I would support Councillor Zucker's proposal.
So sorry, can I just clarify for the minutes then, what's the exact wording of your objection?
If I understand, Sandwich Town Council has already objected to the change from the original. In addition, we have strong objections to problems of access onto and off Deal Road. Now, I can give you some figures tomorrow if you need to amplify that, because I've done the research. But I would propose that's the sort of thing that we want to say. The other part are, they're not big items. So that would be my proposal. There's sort of words to that effect, but I'm happy to come and talk to you.
Do you want to mention the inadequacy of the survey?
I can
That'd
do
be
that,
the-
again, that's the detail,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So we've got a proposer then.
Councillor Tudor.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Second.
You all in favour that we turn this application down?
Object.
One objection. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Item C. Planning application 25/00924, proposal for removal of chimney, location Witches Brew, 29 Church Street, St Mary Sam, CT 30, 9HL. I'll have a look at that and find out what
Yeah, it's exactly, you can't really see it from the road. Also this chimney, you can see from the photographs that have been taken, it's in pretty bad state.
Yeah.
It's a eyesore blue colour, which doesn't fit in with
Blended, isn't it?
the rest of the property,
Mm.
and it's in pretty poor condition, so it's actually a danger to the other heritage buildings either side. So I would propose that we support this application and get that chimney down before it falls down this winter.
And I think that it's leaking in the roof as well, the
It
flashing's
is.
gone.
That's
That
correct.
gone. Yeah. Well, I'll second that, okay.
That's my
And then,
proposal.
anyone in favour that we approve this application? Thank you. D. Planning application 25/00964, proposal, reserved matters application for the details of access, appearance, landscaping, layout and scale pursuant to application 14/00058, outline application for the redevelopment of site to include demolition of some existing buildings and associated infrastructure, change of use some existing buildings from B1 to uses classes B2, B8, sui generis, energy and D1 uses, the provision of new commercial uses class A3/4, B1, B2, B8, C1, D1 and sui generis, and residential use class C3 development, associated site preparation, enabling infrastructure and landscaping works and provision of car parking, location Discovery Park House, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich. If you remember, it was a big old office block there, wasn't it? And I think the manufacturing plant or processing plant, just around for.
I may have misread it, but I thought 965 and 964 in practice go together.
They do.
They do.
So I'm just trying to be helpful. I think my reading of 965 is they want to increase the height of the building to put an extra story on, whereas 964 is they want to put a couple more buildings on.
What else do we do separate?
They are separate
They are separate
applications.
They're
applications.
separate
Yeah.
applications, even though they're related. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll be guided by you folks.
Yeah,
One of them was actually access,
yeah, yeah,
and that one's height.
yeah. So, it's down there, isn't it? And it's all about workers.
As you know, Mr. Chairman, from many, many years back, any comments we make on Discovery Park are only advisory
Yeah,
anyway.
that's right. Yeah.
So even if you wanted to object against this,
It's been run by the planning, isn't it?
it would be discluded anyway. So I would say that we should support it in the fact that it will be it's taking housing out of the actual town centre area, which is out over the other side, Monk's Way. And as they said in their application, it's going to bring in an extra 200 jobs
Yeah.
for the commercial units that they're putting in. So I'd be quite happy to propose that we support this application.
I second that, okay. All in favour of this? Oh, we've got one abstention, two abstentions, okay, thank you. Item E, planning application 25/00779, proposal, erection of side extension, 80, the first floor mezzanine for office use, subdivision of existing building for use of manufacturing steel frames and erection of 2.5 fence and entrance gate, location Minter's Yard, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich, City 39 LY.
It's just a continuation of what is already there. They're just extending the massive, great big barn that they've already got there,
Yeah.
and they're putting up new 2.5 metre fencing.
Yeah.
But it's on Sandwich Industrial Estate,
Yeah.
so
Step round back, innit?
it is, yeah, right round back by the Crystal Business Centre. So
Anyone else? Okay, come on.
It will bring extra jobs and
Yeah.
more to our
So I
economy.
propose we accept that.
You oppose that one?
Seems reasonable.
I'll second it
I'll
then.
second
No, I
it.
think we're in favour. Okay. Item F. Planning application 25/00965. Proposal variation condition 1. Approved drawings and document schedule of planning permission 14/00058 for outline application for the redevelopment site to include demolition of some existing building and associated infrastructure. Change of use from existing building from B1 to use classes B2, B8, sui generis, energy and D1 uses. The provision of new commercial uses A3/4, B1, B2, B8, C1, D1 and sui generis and residential use class C3. Development associated site preparation, enabling infrastructure and landscaping works and provision of car parking with some matters reserved to allow change to the approved development schedule and an increased height limit for development zone 7. Locations Discovery Park House, Roundgate Road, Sandwich, Kent, CT39ND.
Yeah, once again, Mr. Chairman, this is development zone 7,
Yeah.
which is all the buildings, the land on the right hand side of
Yeah.
Ramsgate Road.
Yeah.
So it's already developed with quite large buildings on it,
Yeah.
so you won't see much change from what's already there.
Especially that power station there as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's tall, high.
Yeah, so I'm quite happy to propose that we
Yeah.
support this.
Well, no comments? I second it. Can we have a vote? Thank you. Item G, planning application 25/00850, proposal 1 metre reduction in height, crown width by 2 metres and prune back laterals to provide 1 metre clearance around telephone pole stroke lines of 1 horse chestnut T1, the subject of tree preservation order number 9 of 1999, location Stoney Close and Garden Sandwich, Kent.
I'd like to suggest that you object to this one. This tree is a magnificent specimen of the horse chestnut, and I feel that the protection of it should take priority over the wishes of people who want to park beneath it. And if the telephone lines are a problem, then maybe they ought to be rerouted.
I think the problem is the trees. I'm not sure how old the tree is, and it's a line because it could cost a lot of money to move that telephone pole and move all the lines.
The preservation order was 1999.
Yeah. Yes.
So whilst I support the spirit, the request is related to the risk it presents to those that use the car park. So at some point that car park was obviously allowed and has been there for a period of time. So I think it is incumbent on, so from my perspective, supporting the need to cut the tree to enable it to be a safer area for those that use it. So much that I would prefer not to, I would support it, and it does look magnificent when I get to look in the photographs. But yeah. And this is about tree management. This isn't about dealing with a diseased tree or a tree that's going to be removed. It is about taking account of the environment in which it exists.
I think it was early 1950s, because somebody told me that it was when the site was developed. So I don't know if you remember, I obviously haven't got that memory, but 1950s, but it does present a hazard to the cars parked nearby, and also it is on that corner, so it is a risk if it gets out of hand. It could, if it came over, it would block off that area.
Yeah, the trouble is if you keep on planting beautiful trees in the wrong place, you don't like that one up by the devil. Usually
Car parks in the wrong spaces.
That's more like it. So I'm happy to propose that let's go ahead.
That's the work, is it? Oh, hang on. Not saying. You seconded it.
I think I'm on the side of the tree.
So what we've got, we've got one extension. We'll go to vote. One extension. One opposed.
Oh, dissent.
Not doing any harm, I mean, it's miles from any property.
Yeah. Health and safety will get a conquer on your head.
That's it.
Actimate planning application 25/00885, proposed erection of rear first floor and partial side extension, rear dormer window and 2 front dormer windows to facilitate a loft conversion with first floor terrace and alteration of windows and doors. Location 91, Burnham Avenue, Sam, CT 30A, Councillor Wiles.
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I thought this would be a typical reasonable extension, but this one, it just seems completely out of place in this post-war council estate. It's possibly elsewhere it would be seen as innovative and modern, but it just seems completely wrong for this property, and an overdevelopment as well, with the roof going into the roof and the thing coming out the side of the building as well.
From the front, don't you? Yeah.
So that I would object to it.
Well, the bit on the side, which is a toilet, or ensuite, reminds me a bit of the bridge of a cross-channel ferry, or the overboard toilet of a dhow. But there's a real mishmash of materials here. You've got vertical cladding, you've got shingles, you've got vertical spars in front of a window, and then you've got the brick, of course, of the existing house. This is a departure from the other houses on the estate. I don't think loft conversions have been done elsewhere.
Might be the Australian non-drop toilet.
It's similar, the design and styling is similar to the one that we actually allowed down at the Crescent at Dover Road. If you go down there, you'll see, if you know the Crescent, they're all exactly the same houses. We actually supported one that was clad down there. So I don't know, we need to be very careful, because it looks like we're allowing one thing in one area but another thing in another area. So
different sort of areas, that's on like an estate, isn't it?
And a material planning consideration can be design appearance and materials. So if we feel that it's not,
Out of character, isn't it?
yeah, out of character, then we can, if we want to, object.
So are we going to raise an objection to this out of character with the style of the building? Or?
So we propose that.
I would propose an objection based on it being the materials and the design are out of character with surrounding properties, and it's also an overdevelopment of that property.
Got a second for that? All in favour of the objection to an extension? No.
We've had that one. We've had that one.
So this one was these.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So H-I-J, we discussed the past.
Yeah. We go to K then. Planning application 25/00980. Proposal change of use of rear store to office building, replacement rear door and windows, location 14 Dave Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139B10. That will replace the old car park.
it's just at the back of the Oddfellows, isn't it? So it'd be nice to see that this was actually put to good use. Because it's, I don't know if you know, if you've ever been in there, it's been a rickety old store for donkeys years. It has, dumping area. So I would propose that we do support this. It's not inflicting on anybody else in the area. So I would propose that.
I'd second that.
All in favour that we accept the proposal? So, yeah. Okay, thank you. This one, withdrawal planning application, so we've got item B, planning application 25/00935, proposal park repointing front elevation, replacement of installation of front range, change of room form to rear port and insertion of windows. Location Curfew House, 28 St Peter Street, Sandwich, CT 39BW. It was withdrawn, but then become an amended proposal.
It's, so DDC, so there was just an error with how they done it, but that basically it is a live application, but just for the repointing, part repointing.
Yeah.
Well, you can comment on it, it's an application.
Yes.
Yeah.
We automatically recorded, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just for the repointing,
Yeah.
like I propose we do support
Yeah.
it.
And I'd like to second
Second that, all in favour of reappointing, Thank you. Item 8, planning decisions, to receive and note latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Does anyone want to comment on all that?
Yes, that's it. Any comments?
Any comments?
No, no. Go on.
So you're not going to read them all out, Mr. Chairman?
No. So I'm going to note, I propose we note them.
I'll second that.
Yeah. All in favour we note?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Street furniture applications. Receive and consider any application made to DDC in relation to a street furniture consent application under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982, Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982, street furniture. Please note, none to consider time this issue in the agenda. Everyone happy with the note?
No?
Yeah. Thank you, that's very cool. Licenses, to consider and note any licensing notices for sandwich. Please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Enforcement, to consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Happy to know?
Yes.
Correspondence, to consider correspondence related to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning application. Please note, to consider any time of issuing this agenda.
Note that.
No, in the front, yeah, okay. And are there like verbal update from Dover District Council map? Have you got
I
that?
haven't received,
And Mr. Chairman, it is essential we have some sort of input from either one of the Dover District
Yeah.
councillors, or that we have some sort of report,
Yeah.
because we should have some sort of representation from Dover District Council, the Planning Committee, because Dover District are the planning approval.
I can change the agenda going forwards, as obviously now Councillor Morehouse has resigned from this particular committee. But both the Dover District Council representatives are emailed a copy of the agenda and every month.
Indeed,
So,
but,
but I can maybe add an additional.
You need to get the recorded be some of them there.
well, that's, yeah, we
If
should
you kind
have
of send-
something, because there's a large number of ongoing issues.
Yeah.
Including 57 New Street and enforcement issues. And those enforcement issues can be picked up and taken back to Dover District Council if we have somebody here to represent us.
So the reality is one councillor will not attend, and one has resigned. So what I would ask is whether the chair is willing to write to the two district councillors, and the assistant town clerk can support that, or the new town clerk, to each of them and ask that we would expect and would want to receive their report. It can be an exception report. We don't need just words in terms of nothing's happening, but there are key issues in the town, and we would want to hear about any progress on any of those matters, and that can be in writing.
Yeah. You're all happy with that? Okay. Okay. All right, conclude our meeting then. Thank you very much for your attention.